Hi, this is Nirman, and you're listening to Because Love Matters. I want to talk to you about why you might be repeating the same patterns in life. And the question is, have you ever felt like, you're living the same emotional script over and over again? Like no matter how much you change your jobs or where you live, the cities, or change your relationships, the same struggles keep finding you. And every time you tell yourself, this time will be different. But soon enough, the same anxiety returns. The fear of not being enough resurfaces. The same feeling that it's the same thing all over again. That shows up. The emptiness shows up again, just wearing a new face perhaps. And today I want to gently introduce a possibility. What if these patterns are not just random? What if they are echoes from a life you don't consciously remember? It happened with one of my clients. She was one of those people you look at and think, wow, she has it all together. I mean, she had a very successful corporate job, apparently on the surface a stable relationship and a decent social life. But inside, Megan was exhausted. Not physically, but soul deep tired. And every time, she was telling me that she reached a point of stability, something inside her would sabotage it. Have you felt that? And she told me that, Nirman, it's like I'm scared of being at peace. I just don't trust happiness anymore. Wow. That was telling. So when we went through a past life regression session, she saw herself as a healer during a time of persecution. I'm talking centuries ago. And she was living in Europe. And she had been punished by being burnt on the stakes and being called a witch for speaking her truth. And even though that life had ended long ago, the fear of being visible still existed, still lived in her. And her patterns of holding back in this life, overthinking and just shrinking herself, she was scared to be seen, to be heard. It wasn't irrational, it was ancient. So here is the thing, the repeating emotional patterns often have soul roots. We often look at our behaviors through a psychological or surface level lens. But some patterns are not just formed in this lifetime. They are soul imprints carried through the soul's journey. And if you keep choosing emotionally unavailable partners, then just consider that maybe, just maybe, you once had a life where love was forbidden. Remember the story, the folklore of Laila Majnu? So if you fear success, maybe success once cost you your safety. Your soul remembers, even if your mind doesn't. And why would mind remember anything about your past lives? Your mind, a product of your brain, is a part of this body. And hence, it's born and dies with this body. But your soul remembers. Your soul is not a part of this physical body. It's a different dimension. Your conscious or subconscious mind is a vault. And yes, it does store more than childhood memories. It also stores your ancestors' memories as part of the DNA. So it does hold emotional residues, not just from your lifetime, but also the lifetimes of your ancestors. And these memories echo through your dreams, through gut feelings, intense attractions, and unexplained fears. But it's very important to discern between the conscious and subconscious, and even perhaps the deep subconscious memory, which is contained in your DNA, in your mind, and what your soul remembers. And the way to reach your soul is by bypassing your mind. And how do you do that? You do it through past life regression. So you see, regression isn't just about seeing the past. It's also about releasing its hold on you. So the purpose of past life regression, as I always say, isn't to dwell in who you were. That's not really important, who you were. What is important is to understand why certain patterns persist in your life, and hence to break free from them. So insight without healing is just information. You got the information, but you haven't healed. So healing is extremely important, and it's a part of the past life regression. And then healing turns insight into liberation. Now, awareness. Remember this word, awareness. Awareness is the first step towards alignment. So when Megan saw her story, she cried. She cried bitterly. Not because it was painful, but because it finally made sense. And that moment of, I remember that, that poignant moment when she said, "Oh, Nirman, this is why I do what I do." And I said, yes. And that was the beginning of her freedom. Now, she didn't change overnight. Many people think everything will happen overnight. It's a process, and sometimes this process can continue. It does continue, because once your portals open, then things will start showing up, which is fantastic. So as I said, Megan didn't change overnight. But now every time she holds back, she recognizes this fear isn't mine. It's borrowed from a past I no longer have to carry. And that's huge. So remember that the patterns, whether it's of fear or some unknown sadness or whatever emotion, those emotional patterns are not punishment. They are invitations. They are not signs that you're broken. They are actually breadcrumbs. And you have to just figure it out that, this is telling me something. Your soul is trying to remind you of something that's unfinished. And not to shame you, right? Not to make you worried, but to help you close the loop so that you can finally walk a different path. So if this speaks to something deep inside you, and if you have been feeling like you are trapped in a loop that you don't understand, I invite you to go through past life regression, but in a safe and powerful space, right? Because past life regression might just give you the insight that unlocks your next chapter. I would seriously invite you to begin your journey of remembering and releasing. Why? Because your past doesn't define you. But understanding it can liberate you, can unblock you, can unstuck you, can create a second chance for you. Because you're not here to repeat the same lessons lifetime after lifetime. You are here to transcend them, to rewrite the story. As Rumi said, don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will become your cure. And I often say this, no emotion is bad. How can your own emotion be bad? We all are spiritual beings, sacred souls, untouched, undamaged, and we are having a physical experience, right? You are not broken. You are just remembering. So just be gentle with yourself. Until next time, this is your friend Nirman.